everyone, welcome to TBA Global's webinar, Elevate Your E-commerce Brand, Mastering Trademarks for Your Success. I'm Jane, a client service specialist at TBA. Today, I'm very happy to have our trademark expert, Victoria, with me for a chat about our trademark services.
Thank you for the introduction, Jane. Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria. Welcome to our webinar today.
Having a trademark is a must-have for sellers who are looking to protect their brand. Furthermore, by registering for a trademark, you can unlock advanced tools on e-commerce platforms such as Amazon.
Also, we have prepared this small surprise for everyone in the webinar today, so make sure you stay tuned to the end, okay?
Okay, let's get started.
Let's get started.
So we're going to discuss the benefits of having a trademark, why businesses apply for them, and how could they affect your own business. So Victoria, would you please tell us what a trademark is?
Yes. So to put it in a simple way, a trademark is a legally protected sign. So if you trademark a sign, other parties, they are not allowed to use that sign without your authority, nor can they use any other similar signs.
So other than that, could you please tell us why a business should register for a trademark?
Yeah, there are many different advantages of getting your own trademark. These can include protection from infringement, exclusive usage rights, to enhance your brand's credibility, and also, of course, to drive more revenue.
Sounds good. And if you have a trademark, you can also apply for Amazon's brand registry, right?
Yes, and Amazon brand registry is actually one of the main drivers for Amazon sellers to register for their own trademark, because it can boost your sales traffic, safeguard your products, and you can unlock more business data on Amazon to optimize your business.
Wow, these sound really great. So would you let us know some of the other benefits you mentioned?
Yes, let's begin with exclusive usage rights. So literally it means that if you successfully register for your own trademark, you will have the legal rights to use that sign exclusively. We can see this example of a case happening in UK not so long ago, in which this UK supermarket sues another UK supermarket for using a really similar price tag icon of its own. And at the end, the court ruled in favor of the supermarkets with the trademark because it believes that it has the exclusive usage rights to that price tag.
I see. So what about the protection from infringement?
Well, for protection from infringements, we can have a look of another lawsuit. Jane, if I describe this brand with three stripe, which brands would you think of?
There's definitely a sporting goods brand that comes to mind, and I believe our audience is thinking of the same brand.
Mm-hmm. So that three-stripe sport brand sues another sport brand for using the similar three-stripe design on their own product. And the thing with protection from infringement is that if the court believes that it's an infringement, it can order any party to stop using the registered trademark and return any of the profits they made with that unauthorized use back to the owner of the trademark.
So these images clearly leave an impression in our minds. Are there any other benefits?
Certainly there are. And before we go further, Jane, as we see on the slides, there are 6 different images. Would you maybe identify them or associate them with any of the brands that you know?
Of course. So the first one is an online meeting app.
Mm-hmm.
The second is a laptop from a global tech company.
Mm-hmm.
The third is a shoe brand. The fourth, a popular beverage. The fourth is an online video sharing platform. And the fifth even, the sixth is a cafe that I believe originated in Seattle.
Oh, correct. Brilliant. So this is exactly the power of a registered trademark. You don't need any description or wording beneath these images to understand which brand it is.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. I think you mentioned unlocking tools or features on e-commerce platforms, right?
Yes. So let's have a look at the next slide. On this page, as we can see, there are two different versions of Amazon web pages. On the left, we see a really plain layout with a basic product information. And in the opposite, on the right, we see this really interactive, colorful web page with more information about the product. So it is the case that if you are an Amazon seller and you're with Amazon brand registry, it will allow you more flexibility to customize your web page to attract more customers.
Wow, you're right. The one on the right-hand side looks a lot more appealing. If I were to purchase a phone case, I would probably go for the one on the right.
Definitely. And besides that, if you are with Amazon brand registry, you can have more legal protection. So let's say if I am an Amazon seller and I have my own trademark with Amazon brand registry, and if, say, for just theoretically, if you steal my trademark, Jane, I can actually report on you on Amazon. And if this report is successful, Jane's listing on Amazon can be removed. So as we can see on this slide, the screenshot is a notification of your listing getting removed. Well, hopefully none of our audience in the webinar will see it ever, because this is a really undesirable thing happening to your account. But this is how Amazon brand registry can protect your trademark on the website.
Wow, it definitely sounds like Amazon's got a really good system in place to protect our sellers' brands.
It is indeed. And what's more, you can actually track products revenue and sales under your brand.
So if you register a trademark on Amazon, you can also access data such as who purchased the item, their age range, location, and more specific details. This allows you to get to know your customers better.
Yes, those data can be really useful for your business optimization. And after understanding the advantages of getting your own trademark, Jane, do you know what types of trademarks there are?
Yes, there are quite a few, but today we'll be focusing on the most common ones.
Okay. And it is likely that you have already seen that images and logos, they are often trademarks by businesses to establish their brand and product identity.
Yeah, such as brands like Apple and Nike, right?
Yes, these are all signs that we can immediately recognize. However, Jane, do you know that the trademark could also be in text form if the wording is very distinct?
Yeah, those types of trademarks are called slogans, right? But they need to be very distinct and easily unique. They can't be too generic.
They need to be unique enough to be applied for. So let me ask you, what would you come up with if I say I'm loving it?
A fast food brand.
What about just it?
A sporting goods brand.
Indeed. So you can register for a slogan to let customers to know your core value and to impress them.
So this means that I can basically register for whatever I want, right?
Not necessarily. There are certain restrictions and rules to follow for each type of trademark. Let's get started with words and slogan. So for words and slogan types of trademark, there are a few no-nos. This includes descriptive words or phrases, geographical names, surnames, generic terms, deceptive or scandalous marks, of course, and proximity to existing marks.
So would you please tell us more about them, Victoria? Maybe give us some examples?
Yes. So Jane, do you think that I can register the word soft, fresh, natural as my own trademark for my brand?
I would say no, because they're adjectives, right?
Yes. What about London and Mott?
Well, London is a geographical name and Mott is a common surname. But how come you can register Mott's, Trump, and Ford?
Well, if you really want to register for a surname as your trademark, the strategy is to put S at the end to make it personal. And as you mentioned, Trump and Ford, they are actually exceptions. So these brands, they have already been really famous during the time of registration, so they were accepted as trademark.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
Well, yeah, another example for you, Jane. Think about it. If I am opening this new fast food brand, do you think that I can register the name McDonald's as its trademark?
No, I would say because it's far too similar to the existing fast food brand.
That's correct. Okay, so moving on, let's have a look of the restriction for images and logos. So the restriction for you to register images and logos are even more obvious. So you can't use anything that is offensive, of course, and you cannot use official government imagery as a part of your trademark. And lastly, don't use generic logo. So Jane, on this slide, we see 6 images which can be trademark candidates. Would you like to make some guesses of which one can be accepted as a trademark and which one cannot be?
Sure. So I would say the first one you can't because it's an official government image.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I would say you can, right?
Well, you got one right. The truth is that the second one is the hallmark of Edinburgh, so you can't use that as your own trademark either.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Right. And what about number 3 and number 4?
Well, between the two, for UK immigration expert, I would say they would have to register number 4. Number 3 has the British flag, which is an official which is an official government image, so it will be rejected, right?
That's correct. What about number 5 and number 6?
To be honest, Victoria, I'm really struggling with this one. They're both really similar to me.
Okay, so the answer is that the last one, number 6, it can be accepted, but for number 5, it may not be, in the sense that it just includes a photo of a random pretzel. So it can be seen a bit too generic by the authority and it may not be approved.
Oh, I didn't know that. So the sellers could register an icon of a pretzel, but not a picture of the pretzel itself.
Correct.
So, Victoria, I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to register a trademark in the UK, would I receive legal protection worldwide?
That is a very good question, Jane. And this is something that we have to emphasize in this webinar. So trademark registration goes by jurisdiction. Say, for instance, if I'm an international seller and I sell in UK, EU, and USA, I have to do my registration of trademark in all three places. So my trademark registration in UK is not going to protect my trademark rights in USA. I have to register in USA to get the protection.
This means that if you would like to get protection in every market you sell to, you have to make sure that you are registering that trademark in all the different regions, right?
Yes. And another thing to mention is that in some jurisdictions, you may need a legal representative to do the trademark registration on your behalf. And this is where TBA comes in. We can do it for you.
You know, actually, Victoria, speaking of legal protection and jurisdictions, TBA has actually recently had an interesting case. One of our clients has already registered a trademark in India, and they're looking to register in the EU as well. But as they were beginning their registration, they realized that someone else was already in the process of registering the same trademark in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Well, situations like this can happen, and in these cases, TBA will support you as much as possible through the opposition periods. But please remember, like, the best strategy will always be to register for your own trademark in the jurisdictions that you plan to sell in as early as possible to make sure that your brand is protected.
And Victoria, I think I've heard them I've heard people talking about classes of trademarks.
Mm-hmm.
What do they mean What do they mean by that?
Well, for trademark registration, there is this thing called needs classification, which includes around 45 different services and goods. It depends on what products you sell. So for clauses, it can vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Say, for instance, in Clause 40, material treatment of services, the definition and scope of this category vary from country to country. Especially in Japan, the definition is very detailed, and if the applicant is not careful enough, it can lead to delays in application process.
Wow, that all sounds really complicated and tricky.
Yes, and that's why it can be a really good idea for clients to book a consultation with our specialist first to understand the situation.
Yes, I definitely think it would be easier for sellers to get the professional help rather than doing the registration themselves.
Yes, and besides that, it's also noteworthy that for the applicants, you can apply for more than one class under one trademark at once.
So this means that it's better to register more classes, right? So I would get more protection.
Not exactly. So there are actually pros and cons in different scenarios. Say if like the advantage of you to apply for multiple classes at once is that it's very convenient. You can get everything sorted in one go. But the problem is that it may take longer for you to finish the process, and the risk of you getting rejected by the authority is also higher. On the other hand, if you just apply for one class at once and you like to add another class a bit later, you'll have to do the registration all over again, which will cost you more.
Oh, wow. So whilst we're talking about registration and the process, I've noticed that there are two different symbols. If I were to register a trademark, which symbol would I have?
Yes, so there are two different symbols for trademark, as we can see on this page. One is TM, the other one is R. So TM is usually used before applying for a trademark, and it means that whoever is using that sign is intending to apply for trademark, and they may take action against other parties if they are trying to use them.
So it's used in a similar way to a trademark, right?
Yes, and for the one on the right, R is used when the owner has already successfully applied for the trademark.
Right. So once the registration has been processed, they would get the R symbol.
Yes.
So Victoria, will a trademark last forever?
That's another very good question, Jane. So usually by default, especially in UK, a trademark can be valid for 10 years, but it can depend by jurisdictions. In some of the regions, it can be 7 years. So for more information, you are very welcome to consult us. We will provide you the full details.
And Victoria, would you please also tell us how long the registration process will take in each jurisdiction?
Sure. Let's have a look of the next page. So usually in UK and EU, the lead time for trademark registration is around 3 to 6 months. And for USA, it can take a bit longer, which is between 6 and 18 months.
So what would it mean if one of our sellers were to apply for a trademark through TBA?
Okay, so this depends on where you are applying. So if you are applying for a UK or EU trademark, the process is roughly the same. We'll help you review and submit the application to the correct authority. The authority is called Intellectual Property Office, IPO, as you can see on the slide. And there are multiple review periods, and TBA will help you step by step within.
Sounds good. You've mentioned the registration process in the UK and the EU, but what about the US?
Well, in USA, the situation is slightly more complicated. There are a lot of different factors to consider. So it's highly recommended for applicants to book a free consultation with our specialist to understand more.
Yeah, it sounds like the whole process is really complicated.
Yes, it can be. And that's where TBA comes in, actually. With TBA, our clients can receive so much more support in comparison with getting the trademark registration done by other parties. And we offer much more than just completing your trademark registration.
So, Victoria, will you please tell us a little bit more about our trademark related services?
Of course. So our trademark services includes reviewing your registration documents. And of course, as mentioned, in some jurisdictions, you may need a legal representative to help you get through the process. We can do that for you too. And if you are a very international seller and you sell in different jurisdictions, we can register for all the trademarks jurisdiction you need in one go. Apart from that, as Jane mentioned, trademark can expire sometimes, so we can also help you with the trademark renewal with the authority. And also in some cases, maybe you are selling your business to other people and you're at the same time selling like your trademark. We can also facilitate with the transfer of the ownership of the trademark.
And Victoria, we've talked quite a bit today about the registration and what having a trademark in the US, EU, and UK mean. But what about the other jurisdictions that our audience might be interested in registering in?
Right, thanks for bringing it up. So we can also do trademarks in China, Japan, Hong Kong, and Macau. And by any chance, if you are thinking of selling in some other jurisdictions and you like to register for your own trademark there, you are very, very welcome to approach us. We may be able to do for you too.
Wow, that sounds really amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and so as you may well know, we also offer a lot more services than just trademarks. Our services are designed to get any business up and running wherever they want to sell.
Yes. So apart from trademarks, we can also do EPR and VAT compliance in EU and UK and USA, of course, and in many more other jurisdictions. And also, we can also help you with CE certification. And if you need CE certification, it's likely that you will also need EURP services, and that's what we also can do for you.
Yes, and our services, as I mentioned before, are solely based for your assistance to help your business run as smoothly as possible, no matter which jurisdiction, no matter where in the world you are looking to trade. Now, yes. Victoria, at the very top of the show, you mentioned that you have a little surprise for our audience today.
Yes.
Do you think it's time to reveal what it is?
Yes, let's do it. So thank you everyone for staying with us till the end. Really appreciate it. So with this promo code, you can get 10% off if you want to do single country trademark registration. And if you have more than one country, it's going to be 15% off. And you can redeem this code by contacting us through our WhatsApp +44 777 6908 114, or maybe you can just send us an email. You're very welcome to screenshot this page, and yeah.
And whilst everyone's screenshotting our page, if anyone here has enjoyed our webinar today, please ensure that you follow us on our various forms of social media. You'll be able to get updates about upcoming webinars as well as any offline events we may do. We also post weekly news with that are tax related, any changes in policies, any articles that we've written that may help your business. So you'll be able to get a wealth of knowledge from our social media pages. So Victoria, I think that's everything for now. And I guess it's time for the Q&A session to begin.
Sure. Let's move on to Q&A session then. Okay, everyone, you're very welcome to ask us questions. You can just type in a chat box so that we will try to get through them.
Yeah. So our very first question is from Molly. So Molly says, hi, I have a question. What is the max number of classes I can register under one trademark?
Okay, hi Molly. So for your question on the restriction of classes, actually there's no certain limits of how many classes you can register at once for one trademark, but it's really important for you to understand that the more classes you choose, the longer it may take for you to get through the entire process. So the best strategy will be just to make sure you are registering for the classes that you really need.
You mentioned in the show, it's a higher chance of rejection the more classes that they register, right?
Yes, because the authority will scrutinize each of the class you mentioned.
So I hope that answers your question, Molly. If we haven't, please feel free to reach out to us by email or any other contact method that you may find easier.
Yes.
Our next question is from Jerry, who is asking, what are the limitations on trademark use?
Well, this question is a little bit more broad, and Jerry, I will highly recommend that you contact us. Our specialist will provide you a thorough feedback on the limitations of trademark.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jerry, to be honest, we've just not got enough time to go into enough depth of detail to answer your question fully, but please feel free to reach out to us, be it via WhatsApp or our email or any one of our social medias, and we'll be able to answer that question more fully for you.
Yes, and by the way, for the webinar today, the recording is going to be uploaded to our official YouTube page as TBA Global _. So in a few days, we will also share the YouTube link with you. And if you like to review any of the contents of the webinar today, you're very welcome. And also, we are also active on Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a few reels on Instagram.
Yeah,
which are really funny. So yeah, you're very welcome to visit us also on these platforms. And by any chance, if you'd like to send an inquiry, we can take them from our website or email, or you can also call us actually.
So I think that would be everything for today. Thank you all so much for giving us your time to listen to us. Please don't forget to reach out to redeem your promotion and learn more details about our trademark services. You can contact, as we've said, you can contact us via WhatsApp or you can email us. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you. See you next time.